What our colleagues here at ECUS have done.
Let's move on now to other stories. Super 92.7 FM, a family, lifestyle and entertainment radio station set up to transmit commercially viable, relevant and strategic programs, officially launched its Lagos Center Wednesday on Victoria Island. The convener, Yemi Akinwumi, at the grand opening ceremony of the station, said they are set to use the programs of the radio station to inform, inspire, and educate the people in its environs and beyond.
At the grand opening ceremony of the Super 92.7 FM radio station, the convener, Yemi Akinwumi, assured listeners of their readiness to inform, educate and entertain the population within its coverage area and to meaningfully impact their lives.
You can be certain that Super 92.7 FM will deliver refined and defined journalism. We are a family radio station with wholesome content, quality programming targeted for every member of the family. Everyone will have a voice on Super FM. The young, the old, the mother, the father, the children, everyone will have a voice.
Members of the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, who visited the newly opened facility, expressed satisfaction over transmitting materials available while hopeful of good content.
Their facilities are very okay. It meets the requirements of the Commission. That was why the Commission gave them permission to commence test transmission. During this period of test transmission, they've carried out the test transmission in accordance with the provisions of the NBC code and the Act establishing a NBC.
The facilities I've seen so far is wow, and I believe that will translate to quality broadcasting, because that is the key. You can have the best facilities, but when your content cannot go far, then there's an issue. So we are expecting compelling content. We are expecting quality content that will appeal to the people.
Management of Super 92.7 FM Lagos Center said the station is said to be the most valued, vital and vibrant media platform, driving and promoting positive family values.
This station is coming to add value. It's not just going to be part of those who are there. It's going to raise the bar, set the standard, compete with its peers.
We have wonderful programs. So far, FM is
with radio cravings every day of the week. Amarachi Amushe, AIT News, Lagos.
A new report has recommended that government at all levels demonstrates zero hunger policies to ensure Nigeria achieves the Sustainable Development Goals. The document, titled Nigeria Zero Hunger Report by a non-governmental organization, T200 Foundation, was unveiled in Abuja at a symposium to mark the 2023 World Hunger Day.
So let me tell you, Nigeria in the GHI, Global Hunger Index, we have a 27.9% hunger. That's severe hunger. By 2030, there's an SDG agenda number 2 for zero hunger by 2030. If all the NGOs in Nigeria can strive to end this, we will get there.
Because hunger has no language, hunger has no religion, hunger has no tribe. And so we must come together in our endeavor to see that we eradicate hunger, and regardless of what it is, your talent, whatever talent it is that you have, you can actually contribute some way.
According to the report, Yobe State has the highest hunger index rate in Nigeria with 44.2 score, while Sokoto is next in line with high rates.
Index scores poorly in terms of the prevalence of hunger, and this is the hunger capital of the world.
People in Nigeria.
Government have the mandate, they have the capacity, they have the resources to do it. And I say the answers are political because every decision starts with politics. I know the new me, a lot of people will not like it, but all of us must be political.
They insist on collaboration among stakeholders to bring the statistics to the barest minimum, as the World Poverty Clock 2023 data says 71 million Nigerians are extremely poor. This group under the coalition of Labour Party supporters has called on security agencies to urgently carry out investigation into the alleged conspiracy and forgery of INEC BVAS report aimed at undermining the 2023 election petitions. At a media briefing in Abuja, the group alleged that some politicians have already procured a BVAS report for the purpose of perverting justice at election petition tribunals.
Demand on the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to openly cooperate with the police and the Nigerian public as well as other relevant law enforcement agents to unravel the allegation in the interest of the integrity of the Commission and the development of our country. Thirdly, we call on all the courts of justice handling the election petitions, especially in the case of Ebonyi State, to be on their alert and ensure that they are not hoodwinked or smeared by unscrupulous and desperate politicians, but discharge their duties according to law, and most importantly, on the strength of verifiable and valid evidences that will be presented before it.
The group called on the Acting Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, to immediately constitute a crack forensic team to investigate these grave allegations, and if found to be true, ensure that the perpetrators of such evil against the people of Nigeria are brought to book without delay. The Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria, HURIWA, has urged the Acting Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, to conduct a probe into the alleged cartel in the Independent National Electoral Commission, said to be specializing in the falsification of records with the aim of perverting justice. National coordinator of the group, Emmanuel Onwubiko, who made the call during a media briefing in Abuja, said the prosecution of the alleged persons must begin immediately.
People who sought for offices in Nigeria, who spent their hard-earned money, those who made their money legitimately, a lot of them who are back, who are in court. A lot of people who contested the election and are back in court are people who actually spent their hard-earned money, legitimately earned money. And somebody somewhere appeared in the scene and stole the real result of that election. So you have a lot of people in the tribunal now. I'm sure there are over 10,000 cases in court. Now, there is a development. There are certain rats, e-rats, a human form in INEC that are involved in the advanced fee fraud of manufacturing and forging documents that they give to their clients to either use as materials to defend cases against them in court, or even to file cases against those who actually won the election.
Onwubiko also called on the Inspector General to protect Nigeria's democracy and rebrand the image of the police.
The IGP has a responsibility to protect democracy, constitutional democracy, that is coming under threat by politicians who use crooked means to manipulate their way into their respective political offices.
He said the inability of the Nigerian security agents, especially the police, to perform effectively in recent times is the real cause of the heightened insecurity in the country. And Women Democracy Network, an empowerment initiative of the International Republic Institute, IRI, has appealed to President Bola Tinubu to appoint more women into key positions to make up for the low female representation in elective offices in the last general election. The women made the call in Abuja during a roundtable dialogue to design an approach and increase coordination to support women's political representation across the country.
Statistics show that the average women's political participation in Nigeria is put at 6.7% in both elective and appointive positions, which is far below the global 22.5% affirmative action required. At this roundtable, The women say 23 years after the end of military rule, the country's political leadership is still largely dominated by men.
Women can begin to harmonize and leverage on their numerical strength to build up support for women in politics. Within ourselves, if we begin to come together, women organizations, yes, we've been talking and we're doing as much as we can. We also need the help of the media to amplify the voices of women in politics. Women have brought value, to politics. Fully, we are hoping that the new administration will include more women. At least a 35% affirmative action should be reflected across lines, across the ministry, development and agencies in Nigeria. We are hoping that these new governments will appoint women as they are supposed to, as we expect that they will.
Well, at the state level, we have a few improvements in some states. For instance, Kwara State, where I come from, in 2019, we didn't have any women elected at all. But because the governor, His Excellency Governor Abdurrahman Abdurrazak, passed a legislation called the Gender Composition Bill, which has now allowed for the political parties and for government make a law that is in alignment with the 35% affirmative action for women involvement in governance.
They say the meeting is aimed at finding a more robust approach and better coordination for the possible reintroduction of the gender bill in the National Assembly.
And I think for me, the first priority should be the laws. There's a gender bill, or there's a gender policy, which talks about 35% affirmative action. What is the challenge with implementing or achieving that gender policy? If it needs to be strengthened, then we do that. There was also the gender bills that failed in the 9th Assembly. What differently should we do in order to represent that bill to make it pass?
The organizers of the roundtable say, with support from the International Republic Institute, it will push for the adoption, domestication, and legislation of the relevant international conventions and policies.
Cross River State government is set to float an indigenous liquefied natural gas plant in Calabar as part of its drive to improve the state's foreign direct investment. The gas plant, which is in partnership with an indigenous company, will host the onshore operational support base of the over 1.5 million tons multi-billion LNG project along the Calabar Water Channel. Speaking shortly after he received the team of the investors in Calabar, Governor Basio II, who was excited about the project, promised the collaboration of his administration in actualizing the project.
I'm so glad, I'm so happy that you're able to key in on time, because the destination for business in this particular dispensation is Cross River State. Cross River State is very rich in terms of hydrocarbon and of course gas resources, which you are looking to also make sure that you exploit fully in this dispensation. But I want to give you reassurance that the government will give you all the support that you need, both in terms of security, in terms of support, anything that you want, I can guarantee you.
On his part, the team leader of the investors, Julius Rohne, in company of his Japanese and German partners, said the delegation was in the state for site assessment for the setting up of an onshore operations support base for the project.
Cross River is hosting the shore base because of the proximity to the offshore location where the floating LNG will be bedded. We're looking at fourth quarter 2026, sail away into Nigeria.
The governor said Cross River State is rich in terms of hydrocarbon with huge gas resources which the state intends to fully exploit during the lifespan of his administration. If you just joined us, you're watching AIT Reports. We'll take a quick break and come back with more stories.
Did you know that AIT's social media handles have all changed? If you are one of the millions of our followers on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, this is introducing to you AIT's new official and rebranded social media handles. Like or follow us now on our Facebook page, Official AIT Live. If you're on Twitter, switch to our new handle at official AIT Live and activate the notification button to get breaking news and updates on the go. For exclusive short videos and photo news, follow our Instagram account at official AIT Live. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Official AIT Live, and enjoy live streaming of news and your favorite programs, where you can also watch our broadcast materials at your own convenience. Note that Official AIT Live is the only authentic social media profile name with all the handles on our website ait.live, with a notification prompt to accept and receive breaking news and updates on the go. Log on to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube platforms on your smartphone, tablet device, laptop, and desktop to follow us now. AIT.live. On air, online, online.
Welcome back. So let's take you to Kwara State now, where the former president of Ghana, John Mahama, has raised alarm over the practice of capital flight from developing countries, a development he says would worsen growth if international communities do not enforce the conventions and declarations against corruption. Mahama gave the warning while delivering a keynote address at the 53rd Annual Conference of the Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers in Ilori, the Kwara State capital, with a theme, Asset Valuation as a Global Anti-Corruption Tool, the Nigeria Experience.
While describing corruption as a global challenge which has hindered economic development, retarding growth, the former Ghanaian president John Mahama is of the view that its scope and seriousness calls for a worldwide response and cooperation in the fight against it. Hence, this call on the international community for intervention.
The practice of capital flight from corruption will worsen the growth of developing countries if the international community does not enforce the conventions and declarations against corruption. Mr. Chairman, the international community has embarked on a global anti-corruption fight across several sectors, including the real estate sector. The World Economic Forum estimates that the global cost of corruption is at least $2.6 trillion annually. Definitely more needs to be done using all instruments available to the international community and individual nations in the fight against the canker of corruption.
Mahama, however, challenged Nigeria to constantly strive to improve and enforce existing global anti-corruption conventions designed to curtail the negative impacts of corruption on national economies.
Our countries must constantly strive to improve and enforce existing global anti-corruption conventions designed to curtail the negative impacts of corruption on our national economies.
Governments alone cannot succeed in preventing and fighting corruption and corrupt practices without the cooperation and collaborative efforts of the private sector, state agencies, and critical stakeholders, including the professional organizations.
The consensus at the 2023 Annual Conference of the Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers was that real estate assets and property valuation are critical and vital tools in the global fight against corruption. Olufemi Akobi, AIT News, Ilorin.
The governorship candidate of the Social Democratic Party, SDP, Moritala Akaka, has condemned what he described as extrajudicial killing of citizens involving Kabir Oko Bala and Atima Abdullahi. In a statement signed by the Director Communications Farouk Adejo Audu, the SDP candidate said he is alarmed by the that extrajudicial execution of an All People's Congress APC chieftain, Malam Kabir Okobala, and a housewife, Atima Abdullahi, by gunmen actually happened. The attack was unleashed on the Ejule community of Ofu local government area in the early hours of Friday. The SDP candidate said it is curious that after the invasion of Ejule last night, during which his family house and several other property were burnt down by the state agents, Oko was suddenly declared a criminal. He urged the Kogi State government to be accountable to the people and the world on how a man previously declared innocent and granted state pardon by the same Governor Bello degenerated into such heinous crimes. A senior advocate of Nigeria, San J.S. Okutekpa, has called on Nigerians to hold the Kogi State government responsible for what he calls the senseless killings of innocent people in Kogi eastern part of the state. Okutekpa, in a statement while reacting to the attack on a Jole community in Ofu local government area and made available to AIT, says the level of state terrorism must not be allowed to continue under the Governor Yahaya Bello. The legal luminary says people should be allowed to express their choice in a democratic environment, noting that democracy is not about force and terrorism, but persuasions and selling of ideas. The senior advocate of Nigeria said reports of gunshots which were freely fired and at many people injured and some killed in a Jule Ofu local government area of Kogi State on Thursday does not portray the state government in good light. Okutekpa observes that news making round showed that those who were maiming and killing people in Kogi East are doing so to infuse fear and political timidity so that the people can follow one particular direction of political thinking ahead of the November election. In another development, the Egali Cultural Development Association, ICDA, says the allegation leveled against one Kabiru Bala, who was killed, is not true, but a political witch hunt that the state government previously used to win election in the state. In a statement by the president of ICDA, Sadu Kabir Abubakar, the ICDA notes that the police acted unprofessionally by extrajudicially killing a supposed suspect who worked with the state government instead of arresting and investigating him. Nigerian leaders have been urged to show example of justice and equity if the nation is to witness the social rebirth it deserves. And this was the popular view of speakers in Abuja at the 2023 Thomas More Annual Lecture of the Association of Catholic Lawyers.
As the Association of Catholic Lawyers marks the 2023 Law Week, the President, Bumi Aina Craig, and the keynote speaker, Reverend Father Anthony Chibike, said, justice is key to building a sane society.
We expect the justice system to be fair to everybody. Now, when it comes to good governance, it's about the government being accountable to the people. It's about the dividends of the democracy. So as we have a new government now, we're expecting them to be fair to everybody.
Including the hope that if we walk in the footsteps of eminent Nigerians like Hassan Kuka, Chukwudifo Oputa, George Ehusani, Dora Akonyele, Raymond Dokwesi, Umaru Musa Yaradua, and a host of others, we could contribute to the betterment of Nigeria.
The Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, Justice John Soho, and Director of Islamic Education, Mohammed Nuruddin, said the lecture could not have come at a better time.
I also note with keen interest the topic of the St. Thomas More public lecture for this year to be law, justice, and good governance. It is indeed a very befitting way to honor a saint of the church who was a consummate politician, lawyer, and priest of the church.
If there is no justice, then things will collapse. But there is always justice somewhere. There's no place that has absolutely no justice. So our job is, how do we increase justice? How do we bring it where it is not done?
We need fair and equitable distribution of the resources of this country. And that can only come about through good governance.
Some other speakers expressed concern that the judiciary is no longer the last resort of the common man.
The average Nigerian, the man on the street, does not feel that sense of justice, whether from the judicial angle or from the administrative angle. The administration does not give them true justice, and they also feel that the judiciary is not giving them true justice.
The common man feels that he or she does not have hope, because those that have money get things done to their favor, whereas the poor keep on suffering because they can't afford maybe to bribe their way through.
A minute silence was held by the Catholic lawyers in honor of late founder of DAAR Communications PLC, High Chief Raymond Dokbesi. Komobas, AIT News, Abuja.
You're still watching AIT Reports. More stories on Sports Track when we come back from this short break with Osaibuvo Usifo.
Thank you so much, Unkoli, and welcome to Sports Track. The International Olympic Committee, IOC, has ceased to recognize the International Boxing Associations as a global body for the sport. The IOC extraordinary session, which heard online on Thursday, ratified the recommendation of the Executive Board. 69 delegates voted for the withdrawal of the IBA's recognition, while 1 delegate voted against the decision. The IOC claimed that the IBF has failed to complete reforms on governance, finance, and ethical issues. The IBA had approached the Court of Arbitration for Sport (CAS) to block the decision, which it described as truly abhorrent and purely political. The appeal was rejected by CAS on Tuesday. The IOC had previously suspended IBA in 2019 over governance, finance, refereeing, and ethical issues, and did not involve it in the running of boxing event at the Tokyo Olympics. Boxing is part of the Paris 2024 Olympic Games, but the qualification bout and the competition are not being run by the IOC and not the IBA, as it was the case in Tokyo. The need for massive investment in facilities has again been emphasized in Nigeria if Nigerian athletes are to excel at international competitions. This view was resonated at the TYG International Gymnastic Club as members of the club bid farewell to one of the country's major medal prospects in gymnastics, Stephanie Wuzurika, who is joining League's Gymnastic Academy in the United Kingdom to perfect her skills.
I feel very happy because my parents have tried a lot for me to be able to get to this place I am, and they've been working so hard so I can finally get visa and money for my ticket. And finally, I've made it here. We've made it this far, so I can finally travel to UK on Sunday. My target is to be able to reach the British team and to be able to learn difficult skills and be able to go to Olympics one day.
We all know we are going to miss Stephanie. We know wherever she goes, she's going to be a great ambassador.
At least all the hard work has paid off right now, so she'll be able to train at a very good gymnastics. She'll train with good equipment, and she'll be able to make Nigeria proud by the time she comes back for the next festival. My hope is for her to get to the Olympics, and by the grace of God, I know she will get there.
TIG Gymnastic Academy and coach Anthony Asukwo decried the state of facilities in Nigeria.
It's a good one because we've seen so many talents die down. They will be very good just because there is no push from anybody, and then the talent will just waste all away, and then you can't find that person again. And then, but as it is right now, we don't want Stephanie to go down. We don't want her to we don't want to kill her dream. We want to make sure something good happens to her because she's only 12 now and she started winning when she was 8. So and we kept pushing, and not much support from the federation, but self-support from our parents. And we had the former honorable minister who also supported her at that time. So it's been good. This is our country. We can't run away from it. But we wouldn't want Stephanie to get injured here because there is no facilities.
And finally, on the sports segment, David De Gea could leave Manchester United this summer after reports suggest an agreement is yet to be reached over a new contract. The Spaniard's current contract expires on June 30, which means he will become a free agent from next month. The goalkeeper has been at Manchester United for 12 years now and has won the English Premier League, FA Cup, UEFA Europa League and Carabao Cup. The girl recently won the Premier League Golden Gloves award after keeping 17 clean sheets last season. That's sports. Many thanks for watching. I am Osai Bovo Usifo. Unkoli will be back for a wrap on the news.
You're welcome back. Akwa Ibom State Governor Umo Eno has flagged off the construction of access roads around Uyo Main Market. Governor Eno at the event said his administration will pay attention to the construction of all economically viable roads in the state.
During his electioneering campaign at the popular Akpananda Market in Uyo, the Akwa Ibom State capital, Governor Umo Eno had promised to tidy up the market with good infrastructure before his first 100 days in office. True to his promise, he flagged off the construction of Ndia Street to Aka Road, one of the major access roads around the market.
And I promise you people that if I still weren't know, they both on it on the rules only. Going to do that. They are going to do that by the grace of God. We'll do the drainages, we'll do the internal roads. Then, between now and 29th of March, we'll flag off Tabernacle Road, about 200 meters. And when I'm Musonges Rural. My promise is that Kenya no more. My promise Kenya poverty toilets, you know.
The contractor, while giving a detailed brief of the project, promised to deliver the road on time.
Ndia Street is about 750 meters. It's 10 meters wide. What we are going to do here, we are going to rip off everything on this road and we are going to rebuild a new road and new drainage system. It also includes about 200 meters of internal road inside the market. Your Excellency, I listened to the chairman of the market. A part of the project and mandate that you have given to us, we are going to deflood the Uduakwanande market internally. We promise you that you will commission this road within your first 100 days in office. And so I'm giving a fair promise on behalf of HENSEC team that within 70 days, this project will be completed. That will take us to August 30th. This project will be handed over to Ministry of Works.
The governor stated that Tabernacle Road in Uyo, Goreti Girls School Road, Ikorekpene, and Okpong Street in Oron were to be constructed as a matter of urgency. Idonsit Ikono, AIT News, Uyo.
That's lots of AIT reports. I'm Nkoli Omodu. Many thanks for staying with us.
These are not good times for residents of Akure High School, Bypass, Danjuma, and Ayedun, all in Akure, Ondo State.
Thanks for remaining with us on Africa Independent Television, AIT.
I think the best way to describe him is the fact that he believes in our cause. I'm talking on behalf of the EFCC. He believes in our cause. He believes in our mandate. For so many years, he has been giving us free airtime, both on his radio station and on his television. And this is the best way to describe him, because despite the fact that at a time, he crossed the path of the EFCC and we are investigating him, he continued to do that. There is no better way to describe him, than that, because he believes in the cause, and he is a true Nigerian that believes that yes, the rule of law has to take its course. Yes, there is an allegation of this. Okay, do this, but my own private thought and my own contribution towards the cause can never be deterred by this. And that's the best way to describe him. He's a true Nigerian that believes in the cause of Nigeria, that has provided an alternative.
And may God forgive his sins, and may his memory be a blessing.